It's been a while, and I'm kinda late to discuss about this, but I hate the retcon to the Terminus decree. It's stupid, it makes no sense. It's one of those things that we know what they are at this point, we knew what it was, but no, we can't have that. It needs to be changed, it needs to become stupid, because it's clear that whoever's doing the codexes isn't reading the books. And it's very clear, it has been clear for a long while, that Games Workshop, yeah, well, you don't have somebody that keeps them in line when it comes to continuity and the internal story and whatever. How can you make the Terminus Decree be about, what was it again? Killing the Emperor. Yeah, killing the Emperor if he gets out of there. That is utterly stupid. Here's the thing. During the whole, what was it again? Dark Imperium trilogy, in Godblight, I think, Guilliman brings in Ilya Anastase, who is just a normal, ultramarine librarian, and I think a farseer or something, and discussed the possibility of the Emperor becoming a god. And the conclusion at the end of their discussion is that whatever went and sits on the throne, it's not going to be the same thing that comes out. Frightening, emboldening, makes sense. But here's the problem. During the Horus Heresy, I think in the End and the Death part 2, we deal with the Dark God. We deal with the Dark King and the Emperor starting to become the Dark King until, the Perpetuals come in and save him. I like the Perpetual story. Might be the only one that does, to be honest, in this world. So at that point, the Emperor understands that no, just becoming this isn't worth it. Now, you have to understand, the Godblight book was released before the End and the Death, I think, part 2. So it's clear that the Emperor isn't going to be the same if he gets up from the Golden Throne, but he's not going to become the Dark King. It's clear that he's now a supernatural being that casts, saints, basically Imperial demons, which is kind of funny. He does all that, but he's not going to be the Dark King. It's pretty clear, and they are right in Godblight. The Emperor that comes out is not the Emperor that went in. All those sacrifices all that time ago and whatever, they're all going to pay out. They all helped the Emperor evolve, shall I say. And then you have the Terminus Decree. We went through these bits of lore, and now we have the Terminus Decree where the Grey Knights have to do everything in their power to stop whatever's coming out of there. The issue is that the Grey Knights, high elite warriors with so much history in the Horus Heresy and so on, their founding members were loyalists from traitor legions and so on, well, they kind of know. At this point, they know about the whole thing with the Emperor, and we're stuck in this weird position right now where we have to pretend that the Terminus Decree that was the plan to eradicate all Space Marines, all of them, including the Grey Knights, that the Custodians were very happy to know there was such a thing, is them fighting the Emperor, which is stupid. The Grey Knights should know the original Terminus Decree, the one that came with the whole anti-Astarte virus and so on, and they shouldn't have this. This shouldn't be a thing. This really shouldn't be a thing. What are the Grey Knights going to do? Fight the Custodes? Yeah, sure, you might say, the Custodes got beaten by a handful of Harlequins. Which is kind of wrong because that happens during the War of the Beast. And it's kind of clear that I think those were supposed to be Lucifer Blacks. But it doesn't matter. They wrote this as Custodes because internal consistency is a big problem when it comes to Games Workshop and Warhammer at this point. Retcons are bad in general, just to make that known from the start. Now, the Grey Knights, do they have a chance against the Custodes? No. Do they have a chance against, let's think about it. The Ministormo? The Ecclesiarchy? Sisters of Battle, yeah, sure, they might not be no Space Marines, but they're not gonna let the God Emperor be killed because the lunatics from, Titan wanted to. Of course, we also have to understand that the Custodes don't come alone. They have the Sisters of Silence. There is no better anti-psyker weapon than the Sisters of Silence. Yeah, sure, they might kill them, but that's the kind of a big problem when your whole chapter is made out of psychers and people with psyker connections. And your enemy is a shield to that problem. Now, you put in the strength and power of a custodian, the abilities of a Sister of Silence, and you're kind of screwed. Let's not forget that there are, well, how do you call them? Primarchs. Do you think they want to see the Emperor dead? Do you think Lando Johnson will just sit there and do nothing? Rabu Guliman might be caught in bureaucracy and other nonsense right now, but he's gonna detach a force to Terra because the heresy is starting again. Because that is what the Terminus decree in this moment is, and this stupid retcon is. It's another heresy. It's the potential, I guess, fuse to start another heresy. Granted, it will be a lesser heresy. They are only one chapter, and it's not even going to be like the Badab War, where there were at least 3 other chapters. So they are limited. Oh, by the way, their stupid codex also says that they're now stealing psychers from all over the world and other chapters and so on. Yeah, imperial violence from, from a chapter that nobody should really know that much about, or know that it exists to begin with. So you're telling me they're compromising themselves, because that's what they are, to get psychers. In the era where we have the whole Scar in the Warp and whatever, and we have more psychers. What was that expansion called again? What was that event that Games Workshop did? Oh yeah, Psychic Awakening, where people just started becoming psychers. And that's the issue. You have all these things that don't make any sense. Why would they attack other Imperial forces for their psychers? First of all, when we know the implementation process of an Astartes takes like, 1 in 1,000, 1 in a million, and the possibilities of somebody becoming a psyker, of being a psyker and an Astartes, is even rarer than that. But no, they apparently just go around and just kill their own and just eat whoever they can. It's stupid. At this point, you look at the Grey Knights and you think they really want to turn them to chaos, or an equivalent of chaos, to create the Grey Knight equivalent of chaos, which, by the way, I think is called 1,000 Suns at this point. They really want to do that because there's no other explanation why their Terminus decree will be changed into something so moronic, and have the Grey Knights do something so idiotic, and then just act like, yeah, these are the Grey Knights. Oh, grimdark. No. It's stupid. It conflicts with their own lore. It conflicts with the story. We know what the Terminus decree is. And the fact that now there are more psychers than before, they just have to yeet them from other chapters? That's just stupid. And also it compromises their whole position and whatnot. And let's be honest, if the God Emperor rises from the throne and the Terminus decree becomes something that's gonna happen, like, oh, we're gonna go from Titan to Terra and smash them, it's not gonna end well. Custodians, Sisters of Silence, Sisters of Battle, more than likely Space Marines, maybe a Primarch. Like, all the strength of the Grey Knights isn't gonna work out. And yes, I understand they had this whole new war for Armageddon, where they tricked everybody else in coming to Armageddon so they can eat Angron or something. I don't remember, to be honest, but I know it was something stupid like that. I think this is an overcorrection. You know how everybody hates Mad War because he made the Grey Knights and the Ultramarines very cool and prominent? Of course, it was stupid. It's in its own right, but whatever. It feels like this is a stupid overcorrection for the Grey Knights. Okay, we're gonna make them smart and so on in this stupid Armageddon story, but then we're gonna make them really idiotic. We're gonna retcon the Terminus decree because that's smart somehow, and we're gonna make them stupid to compromise their position and the whole secrecy thing by having them attack other chapters for their psychers. Ha ha ha. And all I can say to this is, can we not? Can we not be this stupid? Can we not do this stupid idea? I'm gonna be honest. I think this is gonna get retconned again. I'm sure of this. It will get retconned again. Because it's too stupid. And anybody that tries to defend this, like it's such a smart idea or whatever, really shouldn't be allowed to speak on these matters. Because you can't say this is a good idea. Oh, we're gonna change lore that we just established at the end of this prominent 50-book series. And then we're just gonna screw it up. Because that's what they did. They screwed it up. They screwed up immensely with this one. And there's nothing that can change it. And in my opinion, there's no way to save it. You know, say what you will about Matt Ward and him doing the whole Grey Knights kill Sister of Battle and use her blood for wards. But that makes more sense than just outright changing what the Terminus decree is and making them steal psychers from other chapters. That's plain stupid. And the Terminus decree wouldn't work. If the God Emperor rises from there, he's gonna be way too strong, and nothing will help, what do you call them? The Grey Knights. Especially when you consider, the Custodians and the Sisters of Silence alone. Not to mention the Primarchs, who are doing nothing at this point in the story, I think. Just finding out that Daddy Dearest is up and somebody wants to kill him again. Yeah, after the first trauma, I don't think they want to go through that again. Just being honest here. So yeah, the new Terminus decree is basically heresy. And we need to burn it. And if you agree with me, or if you don't, like, comment, and subscribe. It helps the channel grow.